Something I also wanted to talk about was preparedness for your role and your ability to do a character. Sometimes, whether it be your fault or not, there's certain characters that you may not personally be able to pull off. And I don't discourage you from trying, by all means. Like, there's definitely characters that are completely opposite of your own personality that you just absolutely love in the show. And you're like, I am nothing like that person, but man, I want to cosplay that person. For me, that was Mello. I am absolutely nothing like Mello, except the fact I love chocolate about as much as he does. But for me, it was difficult because I'm a very happy, upbeat person normally, and a lot louder than I am right now. Very flamboyant and just love life and la la la. You know, I'm a hippie, I guess. I don't know. But getting into character for him was really, really tough because he's just got this rage within him, this absolute jealousy for Nier, who's taken his place. He's the definition of chaotic good if you're a D&D player. So passionate about what he wants and willing to do anything to get to it no matter what. And that was really hard. And I did Mello back in 2007 when nobody knew who it was, I guess. So I felt like I got away with a lot of stuff. But in order for me to get into that role, I watched a lot of just like bad people. I did research on all kinds of tyrants and just tried to go back into some moments in my past that made me really angry and made me very, very jealous, which I got over, but it's definitely going back and not being afraid to go back to those things in your past if you need to find these roles. And sometimes it works. Sometimes it works out really, really well, and other times it doesn't. And, you know, if it's a character that you relate to a lot, then, you know, automatically that character's going to come easily for you. And for some people, that's even better. Even if you don't look like the character, the way you present it and the people's wanting you to be that character will create that illusion. And I can guarantee you're doing a lot better than you think you are. So do not be discouraged to try things that are difficult for you, because more often than not, it's going to come across being a truth to the person that's looking at you. And feel encouraged that what you're doing is an illusion. It is magic. And the people around you are going to want to believe it, and let them believe it. And just be a character and do your best, I guess is what I'm saying.
And on that note about characters that you're nothing like or even afraid to kind of jump into, for Orion and myself, with Light and the Joker, it was very kind of therapeutic because it only reaffirmed our own convictions and beliefs. It's like, this is definitely not who I want to be ever. And by playing them, it's kind of like shining a light under the bed and like there is no monster there. You know, there's nothing to be afraid of. It's kind of like weird, I guess, but I've learned something from every character I've ever played. And the first character I ever played that I didn't really necessarily like was Mendel, the rabbi's son, in Fiddler on the Roof. I don't know if you guys are familiar with that. But he's a jerk. I was like 14, and at the time it was like, yeah, I'm in theater because I can be, you know, look, Brandon's on stage, and then I'm like, this guy, what a jerk. And so instead of like, but what I did was there was this kid at my school that was a jerk. And he was like that, so I just was like, I'm going to pretend to be this kid at my school. And it was like, it was cool because then it was like in the newspaper and all this other stuff because it's like, and then I told him, I'm like, I'm just making fun of this kid at my school that I don't like. So sometimes too, you can do that. Find somebody that's similar and kind of mirror them, I guess. Does anybody else have any questions? I'll start with you.
I kind of missed the first half, so I don't know if you already discussed this, but like, you guys are pretty hardcore. But for the casual cosplayer, I think the most intimidating thing is improvisation. Because like you guys read the anime, Whose Line Is It anime, and it's hard to do it right. Oh, sorry, I put in my hands. Oh, it's alright. So, like, do you have any like tips or something? Because like, if my character is really witty, for example, and like someone comes up to me and well, I know my character would just say like this one-liner. I would think of this one-liner 20 minutes later, you know, so the person's already gone. So if I go, well,
kind of the same thing with the catalog I was talking about earlier. I don't know if you were here for that, of a catalog kind of emotions, like the e-bank and the other things where you kind of like have a preset, this is how my character reacts to these emotions. Same thing, write on a cue card, because I think there's a lot of situations that you can predict will happen at a convention, like getting glommed, and kind of write it out, what the character would say, maybe have like 3 or 4 different versions, and just kind of get really comfortable with that, with the way that they would react and how they would react. And that way, it's like, you don't really have to like completely devote your complete life to the character, but you can have kind of a quick response that would be good. And I think too, like after you get the hang of it like that, pretty soon you're gonna get in the habit of being that way. Like it's just gonna come natural after practice. So maybe like just some cue cards would help with that.
It's sort of like the French have the spirit of the stairway. It's that exact thing where if you're at a party and somebody insults you and you don't have anything to say until 20 minutes later and it's too late and you've already been humiliated. You have to I don't know, it's more emotion than your mind. So the spirit of the stairway is something that comes to mind when sorry, I'm awkward.
It's okay.
It's alright.
Kind of like what he was saying there is, what came to mind for me is when someone else is cosplaying a character like you, this has happened to all of us, and they're like, mine's better kind of attitude. With Jack, I kind of treat him as one of his other weird personalities that he met while he was in Davy Jones's locker. So I'm like, quiet you, I've got the peanut. And I always have a thing of peanuts in my compass just in case. And then with the Joker, I'm like, well, I don't like her tie. Even though they're wearing the same tie, or even a better tie.
Isn't there a peanut in this place?
Somewhere, probably. At least there was at one point. So that's a good, like, just kind of like think about situations you might find yourself in and kind of, it's kind of like a script, I guess, in a way.